What's up, everybody? It's That Anime Show. Mike's staring at me weird. I'm Terri Doty. With me today is my partner in crime.
J. Michael Tatum, who's also staring at you.
Oh, okay.
But only to try to mitigate some of the... Oh, now I'm being stared at by... my God.
And with us today
I love this. I miss this. I love it. I love being stared at by Mike. It makes me feel important.
Yay. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm just okay, because Tatum's here, you know.
Yes. Our guest today is someone we are very, very happy to have with us.
Yeah, you guys have heard us talk about him enough. It's about time we actually had him on.
You guys don't talk about me on the show, do you?
Yeah.
As far as you know.
It's a good thing Mike doesn't listen to the show. This fucker right here. No.
Son of a bitch. Yes. Mike McFarland, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone.
Hello,
Everyone.
planet Earth.
Everyone. There are millions
Everybody,
of people.
everybody.
I'm sorry. So, man, okay. It was my first, really big con to go to, A-Fest last weekend.
Yes.
You were at a convention last weekend.
Yes, I was at Dragon Con.
Wow.
Oh,
I think we all had
lucky
fun.
you.
That was ginormous.
Yeah.
And that was a
Dragon
party.
Con is supposed
That
to
was
be.
in Atlanta, Georgia. I had never been before. I had a lot of people tell me about it. Mm-hmm. And the stories are all true. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's a pop culture con, not just anime. So
that's cool. So
lots
there were
of
a lot of
sci-fi
different...
a lot of different folks there. Sci-fi and horror and comics and whatever else.
Did you get to meet anybody that totally blew you away?
I've met a lot of those folks before that do that sort of con circuit sort of thing, and they always blow me away. So I don't want to shortchange anybody, but it was neat to see a few people that I hadn't seen in a while. There's people that I've met at the Australia and New Zealand cons that were there.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I have a few fantasy guests that I want to meet at some point if I get
Mostly Whovian, I'm guessing.
Mr. Rourke?
Mostly Whovians, mostly Whovians, and the guy that plays Drogo and of the Dothrakians on Game of Thrones. Yeah,
Yes, I'd like to meet his wife.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. We can work together. Maybe we'll be at the same con. We can drive a wedge between them, and I'll run off with him, and you can run off with her. I like
the
this plan.
convention
Her
that
and her
ended
white
there.
hair and her dragons.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
That's totally
I'll show
fine.
you the show at some point. I will.
I haven't been told I need
There's
to do
this game, and it involves thrones.
And a lot of people apparently want this throne, or these thrones, I suppose.
Thrones.
So far, they're thrones. And there's one of the characters is a sort of the leader of this barbarian horde.
That wants a throne.
And
He's huge.
the guy that plays him, I believe his name is Jason Momoa.
Is it the guy that's like the
He's
new Conan?
playing, yeah, he's the new Conan.
Okay,
That
yeah.
guy is so big.
And
I saw him.
as big as
He's
a house.
taller than Conan
Yeah.
O'Brien, who's at least 6'5".
Yeah, and he is holy shit, just gorgeous and built. I mean, the
Yeah.
man just must do nothing but work out all
he's
day.
he's a good looking built dude.
Yeah, and he's just, perfect face, nice long hair and everything. But
he
I mean,
can be for you.
You love long
Yeah,
hair.
I
exactly.
still
You
want
can
the
have
cream.
the hot.
You
the
love
hot
long
one.
hair.
She's quite
I don't know.
love long
I'm
hair
not a
on
long
guys.
hair
It
lover.
depends. I mean, it depends.
Like on
You know, a
dudes.
guy has to
it
wear
can
it
be
right.
pretty, but I don't find. I don't know.
I like long hair on guys.
Sensitive
I like long
ponytail
hair
man.
on guys.
Sensitive ponytail man.
Yeah, sometimes.
Something like that.
I mean, now granted, a ponytail will not make up for other things they don't have. Like, if they weigh 500 pounds, then the long hair is not going to do anything for me. But if you look, if you...
Well, that's the same instance of when people say what their type is. Mm-hmm. It's a broad generalization, because there's a lot of gamer and con chicks and stuff I really like nerds. That doesn't mean they like all nerds.
Exactly.
That means they like super attractive nerds.
Yeah.
Not everybody,
Do
but
I have I don't think I have a type. I think I actually I surprise people because I like the very clean cut all American dude.
I
Obviously.
don't have a type.
Steven, hello.
Yes.
I don't have a type. I have several, but long hair is sort of will work for any of those types. If any of these say 8 classes of people that I generally find physically attractive, if any of them decides to grow their hair out long, that instantly bumps them up 2 points on the scale.
Okay, what if you've always found them attractive and then they cut their hair?
Oh well, then I miss the hair, but
It's but they're still cute.
but they're still very attractive.
Yeah,
But it's something about long hair. I think my very first crush had long hair, and I think that it just crystallized it's become part of my taste. And
the bar has been set.
Yeah, the bar's been set, and it was beautiful hair too. Like, and it looked
Long,
great on him.
hair.
It was back when
I had long hair back in the day. It did not look beautiful.
Did you?
It looked very bad.
Like, how long?
I can't picture you with long hair.
Like, it was about upper chest.
Chesticles.
Yeah, past the shoulders, upper chest. And my hair is kind of wavy and curly.
Yeah.
So the longer it gets, the worse that hat gets. And so instead of growing down, it kind of grows out.
Yeah,
so you get like the afro
I got
long
the big hair. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, maybe if I just let it grow longer, the weight will, take.
No,
it doesn't work.
It's like kudzu vine. It just goes all over the goddamn place. You wake up in the morning and it's like twisted around, like it's grown toward the window, toward the light.
Tried multiple things. Like, I'll just, I'll use a flat iron. I'll use this and this. And I used to spend so much time on my hair. And I'm like, no, long hair does not look good on me at all.
Or I was talking to somebody because I'm like, maybe my husband, because his band used to play it originally all the time, and I was like, dreadlocks before I got a hold of him. And they're like, dreadlocks for you guys. I'm like, I'm not a fan of dreadlocks. But clearly, that didn't stop me.
See, I'm not a fan of the dreadlocks. I like just free flowing hair. But I used to have really long hair too years ago when I was in my early 20s. I had hair.
I've seen pictures.
I did.
I don't mind the look of dreadlocks. I don't like the upkeep or lack of.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, some
Yeah.
people look really, really good in dreadlocks.
Yeah.
There's some girls that have really amazing dreadlocks.
But the upkeep, that's such a pain in the ass to maintain. And they're hard to keep clean.
Yeah, the clean. That's the clean thing.
That's a big thing. I'm like,
you look
beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, you smell like
cool.
You guys know me, huge germaphobe, which I told Mike once. I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm really germaphobic because, like, really, the giant thing of Purell didn't give that away. But the dreadlocks are disgusting. But not only that, it's like the weight of them. Like, Steven couldn't move his neck. It's like, hey, Steven, he had to move like his whole upper body to be like, yes. What's going on?
Predator.
And so, like, when he first shaved him off, he was like, holy crap! Ow! Like, holy crap, my neck! I can feel my neck! But they're disgusting. Like, he shaved his head, or I cut them off, and then we shaved his head, and then he gave them to people like they were fucking flowers. And they're like, this is disgusting. I don't want this.
Here's my Medusa
dreadlock communion. I had hair down to the middle of my back, and I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking gorgeous hair. I took fucking care of this. I was Rapunzel with that shit. I loved it, and then
Rapunzel.
I did. It was. I fucking loved my hair. I was very vain about my hair, and mind you, I was like 21, 22 when I had to cut it. And I was working I was working at a job that I just gotten, and it was really good pay. And
they wanted you to cut your hair.
And they went public, and so like, okay, well now we have to do a dress code.
You have to join corporate America.
And so I got to join corporate America. So I had this whole thing.
Like,
I had to get.
You can't have long hair.
It was.
Or it just doesn't.
It was about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
yes,
that time period.
It was. It was a big deal, and
what
so
do I know?
I had to cut my hair.
Then.
I was traumatized. I had this girl that like worked on my hair all the time. The only stylist I went to. I used to drive like 30 miles to her because I fucking loved her. When she moved, I'm like, fuck it, I'm following you. So I went there, and she was worth it. She loved my hair, and she was horrified that I wanted to cut it.
Crying.
So I had to get some friends to take me, and I had to be smashed off my ass because otherwise I would just like, no, I cannot be fully cognizant while this is going on. Or
like they were searing a wound shut.
Yeah, really. It was like a Civil War medical tent in there. I'm like, just saw it off.
Just do it.
It's like that scene from Gone with the Wind. So I cut it off, and maybe 6 weeks later, I lost the job anyway for completely unrelated reasons.
I thought you were going to say maybe 6 minutes later that you regretted it.
Yeah, I regretted it instantly, but I kept it in a braid for a while. Some of it, a lot of it.
Sleep with it and cry yourself to sleep.
No, actually, I had about 6 inches of it braided and sort of laminated. Not laminated, it's not the word, but it's like they spray this sort of coating on it so it won't like just shed.
Oh, okay.
And I had it as a charm. I hung it on my rearview mirror in the first car I bought for myself.
That's terrifying.
And I gave the rest of my hair to Locks for Love. What is it called? Yeah, Locks of Love. It was cool. But I miss my hair. I still miss my hair.
I'm doing that again, where I don't donate to Locks of Love because I told like Maxie Whitehead I'm donating. She's like, don't do it. Like they'll screw you over or something. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like apparently they throw away a lot of hair. Like, they don't tell you exactly how strict they are, but I did like...
So it's actually lack of love.
Lackluster.
Yeah.
But I donated to Pantene's beautiful lengths, and I'm doing it again, and I'm already regretting it because we live in Texas. But yeah, I'm doing it.
I'm trying to grow my hair out again long, just to not as long as I once had it, because it will never be that long again.
I'm a fan of it. I know some people aren't. Your hair is like a conversation piece at conventions.
Is it?
Well, because it always changes, because I've been doing different shit with it, trying to settle on a style I like, and I hate my hair.
All I've done lately is I'm letting the top grow a little bit longer so that I can put stuff in it and make it different, rather than just be dry and on top of my head.
That's kind of what I'm doing too. Is I'm like I'm getting it long enough so I can actually put stuff in it.
Here's some gel
and
here's the
body.
design.
Yeah.
Now
I'm going to try to grow.
Now I'm a shark.
I want to get it down to my. I want to get it down to my shoulders.
Shoulders, yeah.
Oh, you know the page boy haircut.
And that's not the page boy. That the page boy is if it like stops at your jaw, right?
Your swords, my lord.
I'm a little lad that likes berries and cream. I will go through that phase, but luckily my hair flips outward, not inward, when it goes through that phase, so it won't look. I'll look less like a page boy than I'm sure I'll look like the flying goddamn nun. I look like I've got a hair wimple. I'm just, hi everyone. I'm gonna put fucking bows in it on the other side.
Yes, you look like the Wendy's girl.
Aww.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, we were walking outside during Anime Fest, which was awesome. By the way,
Anime Fest.
and someone stopped us, or stopped Tatum, and I happened to be behind him, so of course it was like the and she's like, why?
Oh yeah. She comes up to me and she's like, what are you doing with your hair? And I'm like, what I want to do with it. And she was like, but I liked it so much better the other way. Why are you doing this? Please don't do that. And all I could say to that was like, it's really nice to see you too, sweetie. Yeah. I'm like, look, here's the thing. If you don't like my hair, you're welcome to not like it. I don't want you to like it, but fuck you. Don't tell me you don't like it and expect me to care.
Here's $1,000. Wear your hair the way I want you to.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Then I will listen.
I might consider
I will gladly listen.
And then it better be more than 1,000, because that's, 1,000.
I was throwing out a random number. That would make me consider it. Like
that's where we begin negotiations. Yeah. But yeah. But I'm finally getting to the point where I finally like my hair again for the first time and for fucking ever, because I'm not. I've worn it short for so long. I was bored with it. So now I'm starting to just grow it out long. But I can do more with it now if I want to go out and make it look.
You can make little horns out of gel.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of fun to do that.
I was also enjoying the facial hair, which is like what's gonna be this week. Like I know the mutton chops were not a big seller.
No,
Mike made fun of you. It's like
Mike
holding like a lamp.
You were
there.
We'll find the Ripper. Yeah, that was. You can blame Mike for that. So I'm like, you know what? I am going to shave these bastards off.
Or the beard, which I've been really. Joel's growing a beard right now, Joel McDonald, and I've been watching Whisker Wars, which is hilarious. But these guys take it seriously. They're like, man, he's trying to go all full beard. Fuck that. Sell out, like blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I'm like, I had no idea there was such a market for beard competition.
There's not, just for those couple of people.
Just for those couple of people. No, but it's like, oh my god.
Have you seen Kent this week or in the past?
Yes.
Week or so? Yeah, he has an award-winning mustache.
I am going to buy him a Kaiser helmet. And a suit with epaulettes and medals on it.
I asked him what life was like on Baker Street.
Oh my god! No, I loved it because last weekend, he had a full beard.
Mystery solving going.
Good God,
His home's driving you crazy.
His home's still on the cocaine. Yeah. Have you ever grown a beard? Have you ever grown a beard?
I grew a beard I was in a production of Bus Stop in college. And I played Virgil.
Nice.
And so it was however many years ago that was. I didn't grow I decided not to grow the beard. I decided to grow the everyone calls it a goatee. It's not a Chesterfield.
Yeah,
or it's a ring or mustache that leads into a small beard. And I had that until the day of the production, and then I shaved off just the chin where I had this long, James Hetfield mustache all the way down to my chin line.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then I had to salt and pepper that up so that I would look like I was 80.
Nice.
Yes.
No beards. I love beards. I don't like the Whisker Wars beards, where it's just like, yeah, I have to move stuff.
I don't want families of critters like nesting in my face. That's not a beard. Like, but the beard I had for a little while. That's probably something I'll do every winter. It's a winter thing.
You get little beads in it.
Like
Scotty from Anthrax. Yeah.
It didn't get quite that long, but yeah, maybe when I'm a really old man, I'll do the full Gandalf.
Yeah.
You know,
and some wax for your mustache. Yeah. Your mustache.
Yeah, do like the Scotty Ian. Yeah, because I didn't know this till the Who specials, but he's like a huge Doctor Who freak.
Who is what?
Scotty Ian from Anthrax.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Well, like they did all the celebrities, like Paul F. Tompkins, who I love, and
badass
chick from the Dresden Dolls.
One day I'm going to turn.
Palmer?
Mm-hmm. One day I'm going to turn Mike onto that show. One day, I'll wait. I know you're busy.
Doctor Who?
Yes.
I don't have that much time in my life.
No. We'll turn you on to the recent stuff.
And I'm not dissing it. It looks very interesting. I don't have.
We'll turn you on to the recent stuff.
60 years
you don't have to go back and watch everything from 63.
I haven't watched the original series at all.
Yeah. A lot of people have not, which is a shame, but that's okay. Not everyone has to be.
Picks up. What is it? The 8th Doctor or the 9th Doctor would be like the beginning of the
9th Doctor.
9th Doctor is the beginning of the modern fanfare.
And the television movie is like 8. Or
that's the 8th Doctor, but that was 96, and you can avoid the television movie like the plague because it's not.
Oh no, I want to see it because I love Paul McGann.
Worth seeing
I love
if you
Paul
already
McGann,
know the show, but if it's the show, the movie itself, though Paul McGann in it is really good as the Doctor, so good that he almost saves this otherwise really horrible movie. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were trying to take
I blame
this
myself
franchise
for
that was
up
already
Doctor Who.
like a decade or so dead and bring it back, but appeal to Americans. And so they threw a lot out that they felt didn't work or wouldn't work, and they added stuff. And it's just not good. It's really
it's so funny. So many people
together.
that they had in mind. I was reading, like Tom Hanks and Jim Carrey. They're like, no, there is no way we want to touch that. No.
Well, yeah, and it was just it was a misguided, and they were, because it was 96. They were really trying to. You can see that they're really desperately trying to emulate American sci-fi shows that were really popular around that time, like things like Lois and Clark or things like that. And so they really
Sliders.
Yeah, Sliders.
You said popular.
And so they're really trying to emulate that and not be their own thing. And so it was just kind of, it pissed off a lot of people because the show felt like it had lost its roots. But Paul McGann as a Doctor was so good that he's still considered the 8th Doctor and not just forgotten about completely. So he's still part of the canon.
He was the 8th Doctor and he was in it once?
Once, but he's gone on, only once. But there's several reasons, like because it's appeared on television, it's considered canon, so he's the 8th Doctor. There's also a lot of really badass radio plays he did for the BBC, which they've been doing for ages, and those are really, really awesome, and has earned him a lot of good marks among fans. So he's considered, for having the one like hour and a half movie, he's still considered like part of the trope of the troupe of doctors. So it starts with 9 with Eccleston, who had it for a season, who's badass, and then we have Tennant, who's 10, who's a lot of people's favorites. Matt Smith, the current Doctor, is my favorite.
But I think someone was like, describe. It was Ian during our behind the scenes panel at Anime Fest. Was like, in 10 words or less, why do you like Doctor Who? And first of all, fuck you.
Yeah, I was like,
and no one knew that it was Ian, so they were like,
that's 5 words you've already wasted.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, Matt Smith. But yeah, it's a good show. We'll start you on the more recent stuff.
It's pretty good.
One day. I know. Only because I think you'll like it. I'm not trying.
I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to get you to drink the Kool-Aid.
It's all good. Like as for instance, Colleen and her boyfriend Patrick convinced me to watch Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And they're like, here you go, check it out, watch it. And it was amazing. It's great.
So they just gave it to you, and they're like, "No rush."
They're like, "We DVR'd it. Here's
someone
here's
convinced
stuff.
me, and
check it out."
That's the way I think Mike will do it because he's so busy.
Game of Thrones.
So busy. I've been going to your place. I'm like, "Oh my god, this DVD collection." I'm like, what am I going to borrow?
Well, the thing with me,
yes, you've got such a great DVD collection.
Oh, thank you very much. If you look at it closely, there's some of them that have never been opened.
No, I know.
I know this.
This is in my library, and I'm going to watch it someday because I love this movie. And now that DVD is old.
But I think and Steven kind of went because I was looking at your DVD collection. I'm like, it's alphabetical. Like, I was just very happy about that for some reason.
Yeah.
You've never steered me wrong when you make recommendations.
I try to recognize people's personality and interest, and like, here's something else you might like, rather than like, here's something I love, I'm going to shove it at you.
But you and I tend to like a lot of the same things.
It seems like it, yeah.
We've only disagreed on a couple of things, and it's been minor. But like, we both like, oh, that's a fucking great. Oh my god, yes, and no one else has seen fuck. But yeah,
like let's see, I think I threw Way of the Gun at you.
Yes,
which is a
I
great
loved,
movie.
which I fucking loved.
Yeah,
we're both big fans of Excalibur, which is one of my favorite sword and sorcery flicks.
And I talked up, not that you needed that much talking up, but I told you how much how great the new True Grit was.
Oh yeah. And that one, you were absolutely fucking right.
Yes.
Holy shit, that's a great
it took forever, but then, like I was telling Tatum, I think a couple of episodes ago, it was Aaron's episode, but Steven's uncle is Matt Damon's stand-in, and they filmed it all on Hoffland. So I think that's
Hoffland.
It's filmed on Hoffland.
So I think I'm like, yay! That was such a good, it was so good.
That was great.
You can appreciate it for its own. Like my mom's like, I will never see it because John, like, she's a big fan of the Duke.
Well, the Duke is great.
I'm like, yes, you can watch it, but still, like, appreciate that one.
I'll never understand people that won't watch the new one because of the original, because it's like it's not like you're cheating on your spouse.
Well, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand that, and I also don't understand people that won't watch a show or see a movie until they've read the book. Like as a for instance, advertisement. This is coming out, movie, blah blah blah, will be out in the summer based on this book. Oh, I'm gonna read that book. Okay, cool. But like now the movie has come out. Oh, I haven't read the book. I can't go see the movie yet. What? How about they've already made it into a book? You're right. The source material is on, and now it's a movie.
Yeah.
And now you can see the movie. Right? You can save yourself multiple hours and see the 2-hour version of the tome.
That's the thing. That's the thing with me now, that I have made a decision within the past year that I am not going to read any more books that have been made into anything other than a book.
Right. That's my kill point.
And my feeling is that, because I'm a huge reader, I read constantly, but there's a lot of shit I want to read. I'm like, if there's a movie of it, I will go see a movie. I mean, if that's the way I've heard about it, I won't avoid a book and until it's made into a movie, but if I'm already a fan of the idea, but it's like, my thing is, I want to read a book that's a book. I don't want to read a book that
and already have an idea of everything.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is, just literally speaking, because I'm a big, again, I know I'm a big egghead about this kind of thing, but I like books that can, I like books, sorry, and I sound exactly like that when I'm in my corner reading my little black book.
Stop that, people are trying to do dishes.
Let me translate that for you into human. But no, like, a really good writer will do something with a book that cannot be translated into any other medium. That's what makes it a book. There are just certain things you can do, and but I love a good epic story.
I love a good story too. Game of Thrones.
But someone gave me shit the other day because I'm like, I haven't read the books. I'm like, well, I don't really intend to. I really like the movie.
That's my thing too. Everyone tells me how amazing the books are that the Game of Thrones is based off of. I'm like, that's great. I found complete entertainment value out of the series.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna read these books because there are so many other things that I could be reading that wouldn't be a retread of a story that I'm already familiar with.
Exactly. And and most of the time when I hear people go, oh, but the book gets more detail about this, or you have more about this character, and I'm like, and I think to myself, so that's no reason to read it. Oh, you're telling me that the book is longer and that there are more scenes that basically it's such a delicate tightrope I'm walking right now, because I can hear people a lot, like, all over the place going, no, that's where you should always read. But we've had this discussion before where people will read really bad books and think that still makes them smarter than watching a decent film.
This act is superior than sitting down and watching television.
It is not.
I mean, but sometimes I never would have read Let the Right One In if I hadn't seen the movie, and I can appreciate both separately. Mm-hmm. But like, that's, I'm like, I never would have heard about that. Yeah. I mean, granted, I saw the remake too, and
I haven't seen that.
And like I said, I want to make it very clear that my decision not to read a book that's been made into a film or television show or anything like that.
It's not the Steel Magnolias approach either. They're going to make it into a miniseries.
Yeah, it's not because I think that, I'm not saying that every book that's been made into a film or a television show is got to be bad. Clearly, a lot of them are quite good because it's inspired huge teams of people to bring it to life in another medium, and also it had to have something to it. I'm saying I don't have time to read that. I'm going to read a book that I know I'm going to.
It's more of a time issue.
It's a time issue. I've
allotted this much time to exploring stories and worlds. I am exploring this world and story through television and film, and that's all. That's where it's going to stay.
Reading is a compulsion of mine. I go through however many books a week. My house looks like a fucking library exploded.
It kind of does.
It really does. Like, I have so many more books than I have shelf space.
Like, seriously, we've started using books as coasters.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the TV series Friday the 13th?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Your house looks like that.
That's what my house looks like, exactly. I'm going to start wearing cardigan sweaters and
It plays a
smoking
lot on Chiller. It's so fun. It's so bad.
But having said that, as much as I read and as full of books as my life is, I do not have enough time. I could live to be 300 fucking years old and not have enough time to read everything I want to read.
Right.
So I have to start just parsing things down and going, all right, if it's been made into a movie, I'll watch the movie, and that's it. I'll avoid the book. I'm only going to read books that are only books. That's all they are. That's all they can be, and that's my own personal preference.
It's just an unfortunate, happenstance if the movie is terrible.
Yeah.
Because that still look like, okay, well, that's what you get.
Sometimes the movies are a lot better. But
sometimes they are.
Sometimes they are. Well, I like Jim Gaffigan. He's like, the book was much better than the movie. Shut up. It was 2 hours. I could take a nap, and you're still reading your book. Fuck you.
Well, here's the other thing about, because I think that's a completely ridiculous argument of the book being better than the movie, just no matter what. Let's see, you have the longest version of this story, right? And you also have the cast that you have made in your head, and everyone looks exactly like you want them to, and they do exactly what you want them to do as far as what that is. Right? They're picture perfect in your mind. Of course that's going to be better. Of course it's going to be better than whatever you see on screen. Because you've already made whatever the perfect version of it is in your head.
Yeah, it's
and anything else is not going to be as good to you.
And that's the thing, and something too that if I've seen a film or a television series and want to find the books later, I cannot escape seeing however the author might describe it. I will gloss over anything that in the book that does not resemble what I've already seen in the film. And so I kind of feel that my imagination has been robbed of some of the freedom I would have if I could just read this book without reference to the film or the series.
I hate watching something with someone that's read the book. It's like, well, in the book, it was actually not a Saint Bernard. I don't care. Well, I don't care.
Well, on my couch, we're watching the movie, and you're going to shut the hell up.
I do get really impatient with people that point out like really trivial minutia about things that are different. Well, in this thing, actually, it was supposed to be a blue cloak, and I'm like, does that really fucking matter? Does that matter?
There was this entire other scene where they went to the closet and found nothing. Oh, it's a good thing they cut that.
Yeah. There's a whole, and there are some books where I'm like, wow, the movie's actually a lot better. The movie gets to the point a lot quicker. Like, I'm reading this, and it's like, I love long books, don't get me wrong, but like, shit, don't tell me in 8 fucking pages what you can do in a sentence.
I think one of the first, not one of the first, but one of the times when it seemed that it didn't really matter to me, I picked up Thomas Harris's Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
And it was maybe like 4 years before the movie was made, and I had no idea they were going to make a movie.
The Silence, not the Manhunter.
No, not Manhunter, which I did think was pretty cool in the 80s and fabulous.
Yeah. It's a good flick.
It's a very 80s film.
Yeah.
Look it up.
But I read that, and then I saw the movie was coming out. I'm like, that looks great. I am going to go see that because that looks like a fantastic adaptation. And it was. Like, I can't remember, like, there was maybe like 1 or 2 little like, oh, they didn't include that, but it didn't matter. It didn't move the story along of the things they left out of that book. And I was quite pleased with that. I liked the movie more than the book. So.
The first time that I can remember that happening with me was reading a Stephen King book, which I've grown so accustomed to going to see Stephen King movies, and they were all crap, with a few exceptions.
There's a few exceptions. I like Kubrick's The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining is great.
I was on last night. I loved it.
I realize it takes a lot of liberties. Doesn't matter.
It takes a lot of liberties, but it's fucking Kubrick.
It's Stanley Kubrick,
he's a genius, and he's better at making films than Stephen King is at writing books. That's just a fact.
That's Stephen King
that's
directing.
Not a judgment. That is a fact. Stephen King is a good writer. Maybe now I consider him just an okay writer. Doesn't matter. Good belief for him. He's a good story. He's a decent storyteller, and he knows how whatever.
Yeah.
But Stanley Kubrick is a fucking genius filmmaker, or was.
Yeah.
But I was accustomed to seeing movies based on Stephen King books that were just terrible. terrible. I mean, just bad horror
like Maximum
movies. Overdrive. Like Maximum
he directed
Overdrive.
that too.
Yeah, that's right. Oh shit, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that. I thought he was just in it for a second.
But I mean, a lot of them, and there were some exceptions. But I was just used to thinking, wow, the books are so much scarier. And but the first Stephen King book I read and thought, that's all right, and then watched the movie and thought, holy fuck, this is really good. Was Dolores Claiborne?
I love that movie. I love it.
I thought the book was okay. Kind of forgot about it. It wasn't something I'd ever go back to or really think about that much. But when the movie came out, I thought, I want to go see it. And
favorite movies.
Movie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I mean, that's just a damn good, well acted, well directed, well crafted film. And that was the first time when I started realizing that sometimes movies can be better than the book.
It's an amazing movie. Love it. But what was it? Yeah, no, Stephen King. I think the first thing I saw was The Shining, but I didn't understand when I saw it at a friend's house because I watched it in Spanish. So I'm like, what's going?
Yeah, it's weird enough in your native language.
On?
I
what?
Yeah, it's a weird.
It was still Ledram.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you would change that. Like,
that still remains one of the most effective horror movies I've ever seen, just because it's so weird and like deliberately paced, and it's just chock full with images that are really fucking disturbing.
Kubrick used to be an award-winning still photographer as well, so the way he lines up a lot of stuff, it's completely deliberate. It's completely. He has a reason that every shot looks the way that it does, and that movie has a whole lot of like normal, and this thing over here is really askew and weird looking in the corner.
And there's a lot of. Do you notice this when watching that film? Do you notice that like he'll frame his shot in such a way, and he'll have like the main action of a scene going on in a really small part of the frame, and you can't even see all of it because some of it's cut off, and because you're so enveloped in this visual universe he's putting in front of you, you'll actually lean forward and to the right a little bit to see if you can actually see around this flat corner. And I mean, but I love that about Kubrick. I mean, that's what makes that movie so frightening, is because the Overlook Hotel is such a goddamn the Overlook Hotel is the main character of that film as far as I'm concerned, and it is a terrifying presence that it's never obvious, which is even better about it. I think there's never like spooks coming out of doors with
it doesn't look like the Haunted Mansion at the Disney park.
No, it's just everything is just these images of and I've always been a fan of that kind of storytelling when it comes to like telling ghost stories or horror movies. I love there being the option of either this is really something supernatural, or maybe the person this is happening to is just fucking crazy and you can't trust them. Guess what, kids? The person driving this car is out of their goddamn mind. That unsettles me a lot when the main character the main human character you're dealing with may be completely untrustworthy.
Yeah, like that's the person you're supposed to be following along this journey.
I love that. I love that. Sorry. The Shining. See, we're getting close to Halloween. We're getting close to Halloween, and I always watch that movie.
Oh,
you mean Shining?
Shh. You're gonna get to see it. I love Halloween too. It can't come quick enough.
Seriously, oh my gosh!
We need to do something really fucking cool for Halloween. We all need to go. Like, I want to go to a real haunted house. Like,
Well, did you see the thing that I posted?
No.
Like, the first week of October at the Texas Theater, they are doing the John Carpenter's The Thing on a 35 millimeter print.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
It's 10 o'clock on a Thursday. It's like the 6th or something. But I'm
that's awesome.
I am so all about that. We're going to go there and have dinner.
Fuck yes.
And watch that creepy, scary film.
He's going to we're also doing our Halloween special.
That fucking scene still makes me jump out of my skin. The one where they're trying to defibrillate the man, and it goes wrong, horribly wrong.
Yeah.
The first time I watched that, I'd never seen The Thing before, and my roommates were like, "Fuck, you got to watch this," and we're watching this, and I was like, "Damn, this is good. This is intense. I'm enjoying the shit out of this." And that scene, but I don't jump.
Yeah.
I don't freak out. I don't scream because I'm like, whatever. I love horror movies. I like being scared, but I'll laugh at myself, But I never get like really like, oh god, I had a huge Coke. in my hand.
And you had it in your hand.
I was fucking wearing that son of a bitch when that scene happened because it's just such a shocking moment that you do not expect.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, here
you
it comes,
really
here it
don't
comes.
expect it. No.
There's a few of those in that film. Another one, and not to give it away for people who haven't seen it, is when they're doing the blood test and seeing, and they're putting the hot needle into the little blood test.
It's easily one of my favorites. And now that I learned that they're calling it The Thing, but it's actually a prequel to the stuff that happens.
That's right.
Because the directors were like, there's no reason to remake that. It's perfect.
Is it what goes on at the Norwegian camp?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I would watch that.
It's supposed to be something like that, but also Stephen thinks Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she was Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim. So, of course, we're saying
then there's another reason for me to attend
there you go.
that.
And
I am going.
Yes. But it looks really good. I can't wait. I mean, I'm sure it'll, blah, people will be like, they're trying to remake it. It's not. I mean, they could have called it something else.
My knee-jerk reaction when I saw that, I was like, John Carpenter's was a remake. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah, The Thing from Another World.
But why would you remake the one that he did? Because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing that it's a different story and they're not completely just trying to shot for shot it or something, I'll go see that.
Yeah, they could have. I guess they could have explained it. But yeah, no, I'll totally watch it. But I mean, seriously, I love that film.
John Carpenter's The Thing is so amazing.
It's one of my top 5 horror films.
I'm a big fan of Keith David, too. I think he's really amazing.
It's one of my top 5 horror films that still get me. It's like The Shining, and in no particular order, it's like The Shining, The Exorcist, The Thing.
Steven has still not seen The Exorcist. He won't.
What?
No.
Really?
Never.
Oh, we gotta make
Exorcist
him watch
is
it.
fantastic.
The
first one.
The first one.
Oh, yeah.
I also like Halloween 1, the first one.
Yeah, that's another one of my
Halloween
favorites.
1. I'm sure it wasn't called Halloween 1.
Yeah, it was just Halloween.
Halloween, yes.
The original.
Yes.
Yes, not the Rob Zombie.
Yeah, that was the first.
No, not the zombie one.
No.
Yeah. Although I know a couple of people in that, and I wish them very well in everything that they do, but I prefer the John Carpenter one.
Or
I still haven't seen the Rob Zombie
or
one.
No, what was it? Like, I was watching this behind the story, like, on Halloween, and Rob Zombie actually knew John Carpenter. I mean, because he's very much, like, in the horror genre. I mean,
Rob Zombie
Zombie's a big horror fan.
Horror fan.
And he called John Carpenter to let him know what he was doing, and John was like, do what you need to do later. And then they made a sequel to that too, and it's
oh wow, they've already made a sequel.
Yeah, they made it part.
They did like a couple years ago already.
Yeah.
God, time flies.
But I mean, the Halloween one, like, I'm not even a big, like, Michael Myers, like, fan, but, like, I'll always watch it if it's on. Always.
Well, of, like, the Michael Myers and Freddy and Jason and those sorts of things, I like the Halloween franchise best.
See, I'm a Nightmare.
I think the Nightmare one is very fascinating. Mm-hmm. Just the first few of the Halloween series, or not the first few because the third one was completely different anyway, but just
the witch.
Someone could be that vacant and that much of a whatever inside them and not necessarily, like,
there's no motivation. There's no stopping it.
Right. It's not like, I saw my mother killed in front of me, and it's not like I come at you in your nightmares or whatever else. It's like, it's this entity. It's a person that has been...
It's like just pure elemental fucking evil.
Yeah.
No lines, no nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when he was a little kid, he was evil. And that's I think that's much scarier to me.
The first time, when I was really young, I avoided horror movies like The Plague because everything scared me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid,
it's so funny because I've made you sit through so many.
Oh no, I love them now.
Yeah.
Like I got over that fear really quickly. But when I was really little, I know if the scary music was on, I wouldn't go into the room if the TV was on because I was afraid of being frightened by something. And that's the worst fear to have, is just to be afraid of being frightened. But that was I was a little kid. I didn't know. And then I happened to just brave my way through a television broadcast with commercials of Halloween when I was maybe 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And I had never sat through an entire horror film before. Probably had never even sat through a scene. And I wanted to watch it because I was told, well, it wasn't really very bloody, it's not gory, because I didn't like gore when I was a kid. But it is, and it's really not.
It's not. It's
gory.
Just really intense.
It's very frightening. It's very intense, and it is really, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
And it's extremely clever. I didn't sleep for like 3 fucking nights when that movie was over. I will never forget going like, oh my God, that was the first time I'd ever encountered the whole concept of he won't die. He won't die. She keeps like stabbing him and doing this and he keeps getting the fuck back up. And it's so realistically done because it's not like he doesn't jump. He doesn't do the whole Glenn Close coming out of the bathtub at the end of like Fatal Attraction thing. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, you thought you killed me. I'm here. I just walked in the room.
Yeah, and it's always like he lays there for a bit like, all right.
Yeah.
Now I'm good. Like, now I'll get back up.
He's like, all right, I got you.
And it's never like the surprise, like what you're saying. It's just like laying there. All right, now I'm good.
And that's what makes him feel like even more of an elemental presence. It's like he has all the time in the world. He's never running. He's never he's never sprinting. You look behind you, and that motherfucker is just doggedly walking with his arms by his sides.
I am determined. I'm going that way.
He's got all the time in the world to eviscerate you. Yeah. And that last fucking shot of the first one of the original of the yard in the place when Donald Pleasance looks over after he shoots him and he falls off the fucking balcony and you see his body lying there and Donald Pleasance goes up there and Jamie Lee Curtis says you can't kill the boogeyman, and when Donald Pleasance looks back over and the last shot is just this empty fucking spot where his body should be and the credits started rolling, I started crying.
Actually, there's something right after that. There's something right after that too that I think is just a brilliant piece of filmmaking. He shows every place where something important happened throughout the movie, and it was empty, but you could still tell like the presence of evil was still there.
You're right.
There was a residue of evil, and then the credits rolled.
Yeah, I was right. It was like the town had just been like deserted by he just hollowed out by this presence. It's so
I actually saw the second one before I saw the first one.
But when I swear to God, I was so frightened by that last moment, those last few moments of the film that I started crying, and I could not sleep for days after that because I had never encountered this whole hey, but you have to kill the bad thing. Like it can't just still be out there. That's wrong.
There's like no ending.
Yeah, there's no ending, and I was like, oh my God. And so every time, and to this day, just hearing that very simple but creepy score that still just makes the hairs on the back of my head.
But yes.
But Halloween's one of them, and there's a handful of others. But
I'm happy. I'm happy. Halloween's around the corner. Like Walking Dead's coming back, and I love that show.
Yeah, I've heard that because I didn't watch it. I heard it was great, but I've heard that it's going to have a completely new team of people behind it.
It's already just changed the game a lot apparently because I was reading an interview with that, but also just Frank Darabont is amazing. And also the books are just really cool. Like I've started really getting into them. I really like it. But
sweet.
All right. Question time. We can ask like one or two before we take our first break.
We have a point with this, don't we?
Not really.
No, like someone
who told you there was a point.
We did a behind the scenes thing, and we're like, okay, just before, because Tatum was late because of the elevator situation. I'm like, before we get to questions, we know it's not really about anime, so we could just throw out that question right now. Like, we know it's not about anime.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a random. Okay, but
we can talk about it if you want to. But
yeah, we can.
And we always touch upon it, but.
Yeah. All right. Well, I like this question because we just got done. Okay.
Questions.
Okay. This is from our first question is from Alyssa, and she says,
"Hello, Alyssa."
Hi, Alyssa. I had heard and read about a guy in Texas that has attacked a woman, claiming that he was a 200-year-old vampire. I read about this, but this was years ago. He was caught in a parking lot in his underwear, telling people that he needed to feed. This made me literally laugh out loud. Now, what do you guys think about this? And what would you do if a guy broke into your house, growling and hissing, trying to suck your blood? How would you deal with the situation, knowing you guys are very well prepared for zombies, but there seems to be actual vampires out there attacking people? Are you sure that you are all ready for vampires?
Well,
sorry, let me just.
I don't think said gentleman is mayhaps a vampire.
No. It was around here that it happened, I believe.
Well, yeah, I don't recall this scenario at all, but like I recall on I'm going to go track for just a second. The Love Line used to have a game with a story like that would be called. They would follow it with Germany or Florida, and it would be someone would send in a story like that, and the crew had to decide whether it happened in Germany or Florida because that's where all the weird shit happens. But for me, I would be prepared because I have an alarm in my house. Mm-hmm. I have Kilo, who is at least ferocious in his own mind.
If he doesn't know you, yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't know you, he will.
I wouldn't fuck with that dog.
Yeah, he's about 50, 60 pounds and looks like a wolf. And I also have an arsenal of weapons.
This is very true.
Yeah, I have all the stuff that my father left me. My father was a hunter. I have all of his stuff, and then I have a couple of just other things that I picked up on my own here and there when I was younger. I don't hunt or do anything like that anymore, but I still have all that stuff.
And it might come in handy when some crazy motherfucker thinks he's a vampire, comes crawling through your window at night to suck your blood.
I definitely have enough stuff where I could take in a small group of people and we could hole up in my house for a long time. Yeah, we could totally.
It's also a cool house too.
It's a badass house. I love that.
Thank you. I like my house. I wish it was further along on its renovations and repair and stuff, but I like the layout of it.
Yeah, it's a really
it's a
cool
design
house. I really do like the design. I have to laugh. I mean, okay, it's kind of like the thing with zombies. I know there are people out there that think zombies are a remote possibility. No, they're not. I know. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll be that guy in the horror movie that's like, oh, it's no such thing. And, well, I'm being nommed on by a fucking corpse. But
I think the 28 days later style of not zombie is more feasible than returning from the dead.
Yeah, I would agree.
A crazed disease that melts your mind and makes you ravenous.
Yeah,
but you're still alive.
But you're still alive. Yeah. But my feeling on zombies is that I don't see that it would be terribly different than having to deal with the strangers I deal with on the streets every day, because people in general frighten me, and I'm like, dead or alive, you're all weird to me. And if a few of you go traipsing about in your underwear insisting you're vampires, to me that's just funny. Yeah. And if this guy came into my house, I don't know that I would be prepared for it, but I don't think I'd be frightened. I wouldn't believe that he was a vampire, because I mean, vampires aren't real. Yeah. But there's that whole thing.
Yeah, there is that too, which I saw a shirt online earlier today. I'd seen a shirt before that said vampires don't sparkle. I was like, that's amusing. But I saw another one that says real vampires don't sparkle. I was like, well, there aren't any to sparkle or not.
It's like, how about just vampires don't do shit?
Right
now. Because there are no such thing.
Now we have the bats. Those are real.
I mean, now I recognize there are people, real flesh and blood, human beings who are alive and who age and, just like normal people who get for whatever reason, drink blood. Maybe they get off on it. Maybe they're a little crazy and they feel they need to. Whatever. There are people that consider themselves vampires. I know there's the whole psychic vampire concept, and I'm like,
there's an emotional vampire.
Yeah, but again, time vampires.
Yeah, there's lots of time vampires. I've met many.
But those are just concepts. It's not like they're a separate creature of evil from the pit. They're just humans with weird habits, and that is not surprising to me. Humans are fucking weird.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, but I mean, if this guy came through my window at night wanting to suck my blood, I would probably treat him like I would treat any person that came into my house unbidden in their underwear wanting to do anything.
You get the bat in the face.
I would get the bat.
Yes,
baseball bat.
Am I prepared? Steven, yeah. And a guy's actually jumped into his house and jumped out of the house, too, because they were so terrified.
Now, see, there is such a thing as a vampire. I'm pretty sure Steven is one. So,
well, you said, like, when you saw the right one, and you're like, I'm pretty sure that is the story.
I know, it is. I can imagine the guy. I can imagine this half-naked guy coming through the window and then being like, "I want to suck your blood," and then just seeing Steven go, "I'm terribly sorry. I have the wrong house," and like leaving and going, like, "Oh my god, they have vampires in there." That would be funny
what
to
was
me.
it? We always do that. I have a friend that a guy that I went to high school with, Gaston Willig. He is.
No one fights like Gaston. No.
No, he's actually from Argentina, and
Nice.
we did a play together called Renfield of the Flies and Spiders, and they're like, he has a really good accent. Where did he practice? We're like, no, it's just him. It makes it really hard to understand him, but he's played vampires like in Bing commercials and all this other stuff, and I'm like, good for you.
Well, here, I should make a quick addendum to my response by saying that if the guy is really hot...
He's not.
I will... Oh, no.
He's not.
But I'm saying, as a hypothetical, if the guy's really hot,
but he's not.
Then I will let him believe he is whatever he wants to be. Well, he sucks. and I'll be cool. I am prepared for that too.
There's a joke in there.
That was the joke.
Okay.
I was trying to be subtle and whatever.
How'd that work out for you? There.
You tell me. That's just my trying to back out of that. Let's forget that happened. Can we edit that out?
Awkward.
No.
I need a different adult.
All right.
So
let's do one more question, and then we'll take a quick break because I like this one. This one comes from Karen.
Okay. Hi,
Karen.
This is really cool of her to say. She's like, I would first like to say that it's wonderful to be able to hear you on the show, Mike. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Many people seem to flourish in just one particular field, but you seem to do amazingly well in just about any position you're given.
Oh,
thank you for all your effort and passion in what you do. It clearly shows through your works. Through your career in the anime industry, you seem to have done just about every job there is to do. My question for you and for our esteemed hosts,
Hi.
but this is more for you, is which position of all the ones that you've done do you feel the most comfortable in?
Most comfortable. Usually people ask me which one I like the best.
I know it's a subtle difference, but that's a good question. Thank you for that question, Karen. That is a really, really...
Karen's the cool one that...
Yes. We like Karen a great deal.
I don't know. Like, I guess as far as like just completely comfortable, I guess it would be the adaptive writing thing because you sit alone in your house and do it in your own time and pacing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like extremely comfortable. But as far as the other jobs where I'm associating with other people and relating and stuff like that, I think that I like the line producer job best.
Yeah?
Why is that? I get to have a decent amount of input on how the finished product turns out. Get to judge this adaptive script. If I don't direct the dub myself, I get to look it over and say, cool, I like that. I don't like this thing that you're doing here. Can you change it? I can pick this up, change that, whatever. And then work with the mix crew who are all amazing and awesome and make a nice environment based off of the materials that we have, the music and the sound effects and stuff like that, and get to work with them and tweak it out to where it sounds a little bit more like an American thing.
Yeah.
Just the levels of differences and things like that. Working with on the surround mix and making that amazing. Like, I want the plane to start back here, and I want it to fly over, and the subwoofer to go off and go over there. I think all those things are fun, and I think working with the marketing department is fun. Like, I think that's a fun place to be in, is to be a line producer.
That's really, and I can see that, and it's clear because you fucking love it. I mean, you're I don't know, you have this. There's always a kind of party atmosphere around you when you're working, which is interesting because you're very serious. You take it very seriously.
Oh, he is. But okay, as someone who's worked for him, it's just like, hey, Mike, I have a question. Else to be like, yeah, you do. Like that kind of thing. Like, it's never just like, yes, what's up?
It's clear that he's always having a good time, and he's very respectful with what he's working on, and he's the actors love him because he's fun.
Aw, sweet.
Oh, we do.
Thanks.
We love you. I mean, I do. Maybe everyone else doesn't.
I don't know what they think.
I've worked with you on a number of things.
You.
Cool.
Well, I've worked with you on a number of things, and more
I
importantly,
tolerate your existence.
things that you've directed and also been line producer on. You've actually given me some of my most interesting roles and a couple of my breakouts, actually. So I've worked with you probably the most out of anyone that I've worked with in my career.
Wasn't sure.
There. It's close because I've worked with everybody up there now. But I think in terms of just the size of the characters and the impact they've had on my career, you're definitely high up in people I've worked with that are kind of responsible for that.
With yourself, for instance, I just hear a lot of different things in your voice that I don't think a lot of other people try to explore, or maybe they have the show where there isn't anything to explore. They don't have a different thing for you. There's lots of different things that I was like, I want, Michael had the best audition with that. I know he hasn't done that type of thing before, but I want to try it because I think it'll turn out great.
Mike has always been the one that's the first to cast me against type in anything. Like he is the first. All the times most of the times I've really gone out there and done something that totally was new for my voice and new for me. It's because Mike was like, yeah, I think you do this, and it's fun. It's hard work, and it's fun. But I love working with that. But I mean, part of what makes it so fun, particularly when from my own perspective, when I'm, say, working with you on something that is completely outside what I consider my comfort zone as an actor.
Like Scar or something.
Like Scar, which was a challenge for me. It really was. And not just because the voice was new, but because you have the pressure of having to take over a role from someone who everybody loves. because that person couldn't continue.
Yeah, Damien's awesome.
Damien's incredible. I love his scar, and
Mm-hmm.
having to come in and be in the shadow of that was though you did everything you could to make sure that I felt comfortable in the role.
Right. So I was also just trying to make this is a different scar, and this is a
yours.
different show.
You're constantly telling me this.
Emulating Damien.
A couple of people were in that boat with you on that show.
Yeah.
Like when we had Maxie on, him and Maxie identified a lot with that.
But it makes a difference. I mean, when an actor comes in and there's already that pressure, because we, as actors, we already have that pressure of bringing to life someone that's already been voiced in Japanese, and so there's already, you're already, having to bring to life in English a character that the audience, a large part of your audience already has a relationship with, and so you have that on your back. And so on top of that, now you're taking over from, the American VA that everyone knew and loved. And so it's like, oh, damn it. So, but like what made that experience so much fun for me, when I don't think it would have been under any other circumstance, is the fact that you loved what you were doing. We had fun, and you just have this wonderful impish quality to you in the booth that makes you very, very fun to work with.
Oh, fun.
And that is able to... I may not be comfortable with what I'm doing, but I get comfortable the moment you say make a joke or something. I mean, Mike is just really, really good in the booth at
puts people at ease very well.
Getting performances out of people, because it feels like you're having fun. You're actually, it doesn't feel like work.
Well, I do think it's fun. I mean, I like to get work done, but I think that the work itself is fun. I think everyone who gets to do something like this is fortunate and lucky to get to do something like that every day. And I don't forget that.
But that enthusiasm of yours is infectious, and I think it's why you get such wonderful performance.
It's
part
really
of why
infectious.
You get such wonderful.
Terrifying.
It's part of why you get such wonderful performances, and why I think you've done some of the best dubs that Funimation has produced.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Over the
years. I'd say, just as a director under him, I'd say that I love anything that I've gotten a chance to direct, but kind of having someone that's really got your back when you're directing, and knowing if I'm not sure, he'll definitely help me out there. I love Ride Back and I love Baka. Those are the best animes I've done as a director.
Yeah, I think they turned out great. I liked them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say let me add this point, because I know the question was kind of for us too, but the question is of all the hats that I've worn, although I've never been a line producer.
We've done some line producing work.
I've gotten to experience what it's like, but I've never had that responsibility, nor do I want it, because I think I would suck. I'm much better if someone else is calling the shots. But writing is something I've done probably the most of. Just in terms of sheer volume over the past few years. But like you were saying, how that's the most comfortable thing when you got to do writing. For me, it's very opposite, and I'll tell you why. I'm very stressed because I don't have anyone with me to collaborate on. When you get feedback on a script, it's often too late to save face if you fucked something up. So it's not like, when you say you're in the booth as an actor or as a director or a line producer or an engineer, and you get the immediate, sense of that was good, but let's do this instead. And so it doesn't feel as collaborative, because you are doing it in isolation in your own time, and you don't get any feedback for months, because it doesn't often go to record for 6 weeks to several months, if even that soon. So my favorite thing is to either be in the booth as an actor or to direct, but more so I think acting, because I find it fun. And you are a big reason why I find that to be the case, because when I started doing this a lot, acting made me very nervous. And if you go back and look at a lot of the characters I played in my early days, they were typically very nervous characters. I got to play, jittery, nervous wrecks or wussies, which was very easy for me to do then, because it was kind of where I was in my life as an actor. Then I just learned to use that in the booth, and thankfully. But then, when I started working with Mike on various stuff, when you were one of the first other directors I ever worked with, besides the Bevins, who got me into the business. And I started really it was part of just easing into what was expected of me as an actor, but like you made it so goddamn much fun. It was like a homeroom pizza party every time I came in, and so though I'd always come in with this nervousness, I don't know if I can do this. Oh my god, am I gonna really be able to pull this off, or is this gonna be one of those head shaking sessions where it's like fuck, oh wow, well we thought you sounded good, but you saw. I mean, you always think these things when you're an actor, especially in your early days. But with you, it started getting fun, and I think that's why I've since learned, though I've worn so many different hats, I'm most comfortable in the booth with everyone there collaborating, because I find that to be the most. It's just fucking fun, and I think you were the Bevins in a way, in my estimation, whom I love and who's fucking brilliant in the director's chair. Sort of taught me how to be a voice actor. It was Bevan's boot camp, but then you sort of taught me how to make it fun. And that brought me to a whole other level. And then I started being more comfortable accepting roles that went against my type, and so on and so forth. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Essentially what I'm saying in a very long way.
Well, I guess in my I love voice acting. I'm still very new to it, just because I was directing for so long. But now that I'm not really doing that, I love directing. Like, that's what I went to school for. So I'll direct anything. I'll direct traffic if the fucking situation calls for it. I love directing, but voice acting, I'm still very new to it, so I'm still very much where you were a few years ago. And
I can see that
blah,
too,
blah,
which is kind of fun to watch. Because I'm like, look at you.
So I'm still very much, getting the feel for it, but also, but I really dig it. It's a lot of fun, and it's less pressure that way.
I love doing it as well, and I by no means want that like that's fourth place or anything like that. But as far as like comfortable, I'm comfortable sitting around in shorts and not worrying about what I'm wearing with my dog at the house and a laptop.
Comfort-wise, I'd say it's directing. Just because I don't know. It's like, I know the show, blah, blah, blah. I've got my co-pilot, the engineer, which nobody can see me do the motion where the engineer sits. And so it's nice. For me, and getting actors, like new actors in and kind of helping them get to a place that they're not comfortable with is always
comfort for me is being a voice actor, because Mike will let me get naked in the booth and no one cares.
Actually, he requires it, which is weird when you do Walla for him.
Walla looks like the Lord of the Flies happening.
I'll bring the pig's head.
Piggy,
Let's take a little. Speaking of nakedness, let's take a little break.
Woo!
Naked.
Woo.
Okay, and we're back. Yes.
I'm sorry, I got the giggles now. Just keep it in. I don't care.
No, I know. We're going back.
Are we going?
Well, occasionally we'll hear that in like Steven. Okay, so we're back, and it's my turn to ask a question, and I like Gretchen's question, just because, it does apply to you and me as well, clearly.
Hello, Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen.
I met Gretchen last week, I think.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's been listening to the show for a while now. She always asks really cool questions. Okay, she said, Mike.
Yes. How does she type that?
How's that spelled?
As ...
Okay.
No, it's Mike, comma. Fans of you know that you can get pretty dirty and foul-mouthed in the booth.
What?
And there's probably hours of you just swearing your ass off in the archives. That applies to Tatum and myself as well. Tatum and Terri, I know you have some great moments too. I would like to know from all three of you, and this is a dangerous question, just how dirty can you get?
Well, I won't go into it in the podcast, but it's pretty foul. I think. I think I can get pretty foul.
People can leave a room.
People who think that they rock pretty foul come up, and I shame them, and they're like, "Oh my God, really?" That sort of stuff. That sort of attitude.
There's a throne involved, and Mike's sitting nice on top of it.
Yes, the Game of Thrones. I have won it.
Mike is not only one of the funniest people up there, but also just the person that can also be counted on to go there.
Yes.
Like if you think
I've thrown anything at Mike McFarland.
We've gone past the point of no return. Mike's like, no, we can go further. There's further. We can. Let me show you. This
Again,
I can redraw the line.
Yeah.
Your
line. What line?
Yes.
Yeah.
People at restaurants start looking.
That's always fun. The unsuspecting are always fun to mess with.
I get pretty foul, but I don't know. It depends on the context. Like certain people I won't get foul with. Like certain directors, I'll watch my language.
It just depends on where I'm at too. I mean, I don't make it a point of like, I'm going to go in and have rancid mouth no matter where I go.
Yeah,
you know?
And when you do it, it's because you want to make people laugh. It's not because you're like, you never do it because you're pissed off. Or
Right.
not that I've seen. No. And I never do it because I'm pissed off. I just do it because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just the
being
way
shocking
I
is funny.
speak,
Yeah, being shocking is
unfortunately.
absolutely
It's
funny.
just the way I speak. My dad was that way. My mom, not so much. But like I think I'm pretty good at watching it now. But okay, if it tells you how foul-mouthed we can get, we cuss on this show, and we've gotten pretty vulgar, and we're not going into detail. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There.
Stuff.
It's all part of the mystery.
Stuff and things.
It's all part of the mystery.
Let's see. I'm trying
do we
to pick
got
a
next?
question here. I like. Let me see. What was the one? Oh, here's one. This comes from Colleen.
Colleen.
I assume not.
Probably not the Colleen.
Not the clink.
Yeah, not the clink.
Why aren't I on your show?
What was the most interesting direction that you gave, and to whom, and were they able to deliver?
Most interesting direction I have given. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I've given so much direction over the past decade and some change. I don't have one instance that sticks out. I know lately one thing I've been doing with new people that come in, because I just had a big round of auditions, and I tried to find some new people. I always try to find a few new ones to mix in.
Sure.
And some of the new ones that came in, we're working on the Alchemist movie right now. And there's some screaming and yelling and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, if my direction is, okay, it has to be really big and loud and to the point where you think it's probably too loud, that's probably not even loud enough. Like, that might be okay. That you are falling off of a cliff or something, or you're being shot, or you're running from whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll get a or something. Just something that's less than.
Yeah.
And so what I've been doing lately is I'll go in the booth and I'll be like, okay, look at me. Yell at me just as loud as what you just did that. And they'll do it. I'm like, okay, it needs to be more like, and they're like, oh, that. And I'm like, yes, I have no other idea how to describe this to you except for it to be just like this. Be this loud and terrifying. Like, okay. Like
I love that.
Yeah, they don't
That's
get
great.
it unless I do it. And they scream at me, and then I'll scream at you. And however loud I do it at you, that's how loud I want it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
What about you?
The most interesting direction I've ever given?
Yes.
I don't know. I give really weird directions sometimes. I
You
think
do?
I had Kent Williams in the booth.
I need that more fire truck.
I actually did something similar where Kent Williams, who played Dr. Lancelot in Romeo x Juliet,
Love
who
Kent
was
Williams.
wonderful and a really great short-lived heroic character in that series. But at some point, it was the first read he gave. We were just kind of trying the voice out, and I just kind of had this idea, and I was like, read it like, and I had Bruce Elliott, the co-director, with me,
Co-pilot.
and Will Short, the engineer, and I'm having fun, and I love Kent, worked with him many times, and
It's great.
and I'm sitting
just
here, and I'm
fun.
like, here's this character, blah, 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 and here's this, interesting language you've got to work with, and he gave a read, and I'm like, that was really good, that was really close, give me one, but like, I need to hear him sound like a rose gardener, like he's the sort of guy that would tend roses in his spare time. And Will and Bruce just look at me like, the fuck? And Kent kind of gives me that sort of cockeyed look, but then he closes the door and gets back on mic and does it exactly as I wanted him to. So apparently it worked. Kent can always deliver. Kent can fucking do anything.
He speaks Rose Gardener.
He speaks Rose Gardener. But I was like, you just have to think of him as a guy that tends roses. He's very gentle and he's very meticulous. Mm-hmm. But I didn't say the gentle and meticulous part.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would just be communicated in the Rose Gardener bit, and I was very lucky that Kent is an intelligent and very sophisticated actor and always is able to deliver.
I'm sure I've brought it up before, but this actress went by a fake name for Rin, and she clearly, she was having fun with it, but she was clearly a little uncomfortable with the orgy that she was a part of.
What?
And I'm like, that was good.
You're talking about the cast party?
Yeah. And
Orgy.
but,
Fun for everyone.
I want to get one more, but you're making love there. She's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want you to make love. I want fucking. And I felt like such a porn director, and she's like, what's the difference?
Oh.
And I'm like,
touch for the very first time.
And then we had a little discussion. I made my engineer leave because he was just loving it too much. He's just... Yes, and came back. She did it, and now she knows how to do that.
Now she knows how to do it. Mm-hmm. And do it.
I've been thanked a lot by her significant other.
This person knows the difference between lovemaking and hate fucking.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think there's necessarily like a non-legitimate form of direction. There are stuff that I question why that would be the best choice to tell somebody. Like, you know, like, I need that more lavender. Like, why? How could that possibly be the best way that you could describe something, you know?
Yeah. I'm with you there.
I like the screaming at them, though. I like just to show them, because that's a great way.
Yeah, well, I think I even remember, it was a long time ago, but I worked with you on that Vexio movie.
I was going to say, you did it very similar to me, right before I passed out.
Because it was just a matter of, like, you know, like, you have to, you know, watch... I can't, you know, show you what the inside of my chest and, you know, lungs look like, but you just have to pace things out like this where you can, you know, stretch this long scream that we all had to, like, immediately learn how to do because we started in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. And it was true. I got up there doing this character in Vexla, which was a challenge anyway because the flap work was so incredibly intense.
It was very articulate.
Beautiful show, but the way it was animated.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful movie by Sori.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. Who I got to meet and make an ass of myself in front of. That was good when I turned around to leave and hit the wall, but it happened. And they all laughed and applauded, and I was like, oh, well, thank you, good. Yeah, let's go back now. But yeah, I had to do this really, it was like, 9-second long scream damn near? I mean, it seemed like forever.
It was pretty long because it starts off screen and then goes on, and then we because the mouth never shut, we have to go a little bit past the cut,
and it just goes and goes and goes, and it's like the last man standing sort of scream. Like this,
he's flying a helicopter. He's like, I'm going to kill Colleen with this helicopter.
Yeah, and he's got and Kisarage, and he's got fucking veins coming out his forehead, is red faced, and I have never screamed that long before. And I was like, I'm gonna get through it. Like, okay, did I get through it? Was that 9 seconds? That was 2. Fuck. and so I was like, well, just do it. I'm like, I don't think my lungs go down that far. I really don't think I got enough breath. And Mike's like, no, I think you got it. You can do this. You can do this. And then so finally, after like a couple of takes, Mike's like, let me show you. He goes in the booth. He's like, okay, now watch me. And like did it. And Mike just takes in this big breath, and he just. And he's like clenching his fists and like spit going everywhere and just gyrating like some horrible demon on Jacob's ladder. And
then I started yelling.
And then he started yelling. And then I was like, okay. And then after seeing him doing it and like knowing it, it was kind of like Mike's thing was like, if one man can do it, another man can do it. Sort of thing. So
that's not the intention. It's just like if you can see anything physically. That
I did. Like once I saw that you were just completely unleashing in front of that microphone, and like I'm like, okay, that I can do, and I did. And then I very briefly passed out in the booth. Very first time I ever passed out in a booth.
I did
just
that.
Long enough to fall.
I did that with Frankenstein Girl versus Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl, which I did not realize till I stepped out of the booth and Joel picked me up. But okay, let me see here. It was fun though. I love screaming. Screaming's fun. This is from Danielle. Mike.
Hello, Danielle.
Comma. You've got some great taste in music. Yay, kill switch.
Oh, cool.
And I see you perform as well. How has and I know it's affected this, so I really like this question. How has your musical background helped you in the anime business, if at all?
It's helped me in a few different ways. Right when I started working with it, I noticed how having a sense of timing and rhythm, which I have from all the music studies that I've done and performing, how much that helps you when you're trying to sync dialogue.
Yeah.
There's already a timing set up for the mouth movements, and the off-screen stuff has to be this long. And so you can kind of like, okay, it's got to be this long, and there's where the pause is, and I have this much time to, get the point across and make it sound like it's really happening, and I'm not just, mimicking another language and just making it fit. but that was the initial thing, was just having the musical timing and stuff helped out with the ADR dialogue. But then also I've been able to adapt and direct a lot of the like opening and closing theme songs, adaptations of those, or music within a show, like Beck, for instance, which that's most of the show. Adapt and have the actors come in who are carefully selected not only for their acting ability, but because they can also sing, and have them come in and work on these songs with them together. So I've got to use it a lot more than I thought I would going into ADR dubbing. Yeah.
For Beck, because I just watched that a few months ago. For Beck, it was like
great show.
Was it Taliesin and Bevins both directed it?
Yeah,
but
I was considered the musical director.
Yeah.
I was in charge of all the adaptation, and I was in charge of bringing in each of the actors to record their songs, of which like Justin Cook had like a ton of them. Yeah.
I really liked Beck. So.
I think it turned out well. I like
Beck is really, really good. It's
actually
one of my
really,
favorite
really
series.
good.
Yeah, it was cast very well, and Taliesin and Bevins did a really good job with it, and I'm glad that I got to do anything with it. But my part was really hard. Like I had a lot to do. It's just as far as like adapt and direct, and sometimes it'd be very last minute. There was an instance where like, oh, we have Jamie McGonigal here in town. We want to have him on this part. Is this song ready yet? I'm like, no, I didn't know this was happening. So I would have to like, okay, time out. I'm going to go adapt this song right now since he's here. And I'm sure both of you guys know from the adaptation process, it's hard to put like a timer on it, especially like a quick timer like that.
It's got to be done. Music is the hardest thing to adapt.
But luckily, I had been, I was in a groove on it because I'd been doing it the entire show. I'm like, okay, this is Beck music. I'm going to just go there and, take a couple of stabs at it and have some feedback, and then it was ready. But I think when Beck was complete and I finally got my copy of Beck, I couldn't watch Beck for like 6 months to a year because I'm like, oh, that was so much of a pain. I really burned out. I love it and I loved working on it, but it was one of those like, here you go. I'm like, no, I will not watch you. I still have memories of headaches.
I've felt that way about stuff I've worked on, and you have to give yourself a little like, I love you. I want to continue loving you.
Yeah.
Let's spend some time apart.
There's a decent chunk of time after you're done with it, and then you get it.
Yeah, let my brain have a nice piece of ginger to cleanse the palate before I consume the finished product.
I love that you bring up Beck. More people need to watch that goddamn
Seriously.
show. Seriously.
I'll make people borrow it.
I think they eventually had to change it to Mongolian Chop Squad. I think they had to officially change the name of the show for the American release.
Yeah, I think I got the save version of it. It's Beck, the Mongolian Chop Squad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They I think both became...
Well, whatever it's named, it's goddamn good.
Delicious.
It's a cool show. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out.
Yes, definitely check it out, you guys. All right, this question comes from Kimmy, and I like this. This was
Kimmy.
If you could pick any place in the world, adopt their culture, and live there for the rest of your life, where would you pick and why? You also get to bring one person, one animal, and one object with you. What would those three things be, and why? But this is a two-part question, so you can ask like the first one, or answer the first one.
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world, and why would you?
I'm going to have to go by places that I've been to before because I would hate to pick somewhere that I think would be great that may not be great. So I'm going to go with New Zealand. I love New Zealand. I've only been there once. I love all the places that I've been lucky enough to go to, but there was just something about and I've only been to the southern tip of the North Island, which I've heard that the South Island is even more amazing. But I just thought that New Zealand was such a beautiful, crazy, amazing place. And I thought that the people who lived there were wonderful and really nice. And the, crime rate is like next to nothing there. Yeah. And it's just a really, really beautiful place.
What are the people like? Like, I mean, they're just friendly,
really laid back.
Party people? Are they...
Just open and friendly, I thought. Yeah. I also know that the Australians and the New Zealanders have like a little ongoing jab of hatred to each other. It's probably Aussie, done. Yeah. It's probably done in fun, much like the Texas Oklahoma folks.
Yeah.
I just think they're really friendly, open, smart, good people. I had no issues when I was there, and along with the people being really nice, it's just beautiful countryside everywhere. I had such a wonderful time.
Oh, I want to go now. You really make me want to go to New Zealand. Well, you've been talking up a storm for the past couple of years now, and I freaking really want to go badly. Yeah. That's one of those places, because I did so much travel when I was a kid. That I know there's a lot of places I want to go back to that I know that I love, that I'd want to see it as an adult now. But New Zealand was one of those places I've never been to, and I would love to go. It's
pretty much you have to go there. Like you can take the Australia New Zealand trip, but you have to go to one or the other or both because they're near nothing. That is the trip.
Yeah, it's not something that you're like, oh, we'll pass by.
It's not like
we'll pass through.
Like last time I was in England, I'm like, well, let's just go to France. Let's take the train and we'll go to France. It's right there.
It's right there in Europe.
That's possible.
Europe is a lot smaller than people think.
Yeah.
A lot of great shit there, but it's really close together.
Yeah. So can't really do that with Australia, New Zealand. You can do one or the other or both, but it's not on the way to anything. So.
And if you could bring one person, animal, an object with you, what would these be?
Animal would have an object. Yeah. That's kind of sucks.
Animal would be Kilo.
Yeah, of course.
He has to come with me.
Kilo has actually been on that anime show.
He has?
Yes.
One of the weekends when I was gone?
The Stephanie and David episode where Tatum was gone. He was my co-pilot.
Oh.
He did not want to. I'm like, Kilo, I've got to record now. And Steven was kind of doing this like, hey, come on, Kilo. And he's like, fuck you. No.
Kilo wants to be around people. If you if he was here now and that door is shut, we would get the entire time.
Yeah, so you heard him scratching himself. You heard like this.
Yeah. He does the old man laying down noise, which I just love to pieces. Like when older folks get up, they're like, or they make some sort of noise when they sit down and get up. He does that too.
He does.
So he'll be like, he'll do circles like a cat in the position that he wants to lay down, and then he'll go.
I love when he sighs, when he just looks at you with those eyes, and he's got he's laying down with his kind of schnoz in between his paws, and he just goes. That's just the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Like for our hardwood floors, Kilo can't do this little. Okay, I'm gonna. So he adjusts and he goes. Wee, and just slides down.
He does that with me too. He'll try to stand and slip stand. Slip stand.
It's like watching Bambi on the ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So person and object, what would you bring with you to New Zealand?
Object, I'm going to be lame and I'm going to assume that there would be internet access everywhere.
Well,
My object would be a laptop because I would want to stay in touch and not be isolated from the world and from news and from communication and stuff.
Sure.
Person, I don't know. There's a lot of people who I think would be wonderful to bring, a lot of family members, a lot of friends and stuff like that. I think if I was going to be somewhere for the rest of my life, though, I'd want it to be like my mate.
Which, sure.
And I don't have one, so
maybe they're waiting for you in New Zealand. You never know.
They could be, and I could throw out random celebrity that I think is gorgeous and beautiful, like we were talking about Game of Thrones one earlier. But I also don't know if I would be with them for 10 minutes and go like, oh. You're very beautiful, and I don't like you.
So love that.
Yeah. So I don't want to throw out anything like that. But it would be with whoever I would, consider my woman.
See me. Okay. What I guess mine would be a toss-up between Britain, because I've always considered Britain to be kind of my spiritual homeland, if you like.
It there.
I do. I love it there. I think it's beautiful. I love the culture. I love the people. In all their idiosyncrasies.
I need to go back. I haven't been I haven't been in 2 years.
I haven't been in forever, but I had some of the best times of my life were had there when I did the big trip years ago, and I've always wanted to live there for a time in my life anyway. And I would if ever I just decided to retire and just kind of go and just do right or something.
There's nothing wrong with that place.
That would be where I lived. I don't know where in England. I don't know that I'd want to live in London. I'd want to live close to London because I think London is really cool. But I think
close to London would be great. I think in London proper would be it'd be like, not like living in Dallas proper because that's such a lame analogy. But that's the closest I can think of. Like, I don't want to be in the heart. I want to be where I can go.
Yeah, I want to be where I have, the freedom to go out and look at this wonderful, green, verdant hills with a sunset or a cloud or whatever, just cloud cover and not have to take a trip to do that.
Yeah.
I would rather take a trip to go into the city because there's lots to do in London and I love it and I'd want to be close. But so definitely England or France. I really think France is lovely and
France
beautiful.
Is lovely.
And I'd love to. I'd say Paris, but again, having never actually been in Paris, I may get there and be like,
I've only been to Paris and Versailles, and they were both gorgeous.
I'd love to go to both those places. But I love French culture, and I'm brushing up on my French again. I love French culture a great deal.
I have decided that as long as time allows, anytime in the future from this point forward, if I'm able to go to England, it's going to be England plus somewhere, because the flights from London to go to anywhere in Europe are nothing.
They're nothing.
They're so cheap.
They're short.
Yeah, and they're short. I've heard that Berlin is an extremely cheap vacation.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I would love to go to Berlin.
Berlin's supposed to be really awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go to Venice. I want to go to Florence. I want to go to Provence. There's all these places I want to go.
I want to go all over Italy.
Just go all over. Yeah, all over Italy.
All over Italy.
But yeah, so definitely, probably England over France, just because I'm more familiar with England than France, though I love both. And that would be why. And I would have to bring, I guess, animal. I'd bring Angus.
Angus.
My baby. Angus. He's getting old, though. Angus getting old. But just look at him. He's this wonderful black and white rag doll of a cat. It's like just I love him to death, but he's essentially a giant fluffy throw rug that shits and eats. But how awesome would he look on like a stone hearth in some little cottage, on the moors? I mean, he's just that kind of cat.
Angus is sweet.
So Angus, Joshua, obviously, Joshua, and see, I'm assuming I could get a laptop there.
I just picked it for the whole deserted island aspect. of it. And I realized that's not the case. But I would have to bring something. I would, and I couldn't. I'd have to bring my books, but that's not an object. That's like I would bring a gigantic steamer trunk filled with like the books I intend to read a lot when I'm there. I'm very covetous of my books now, just because bookstores are fucking dying, and I'm like, it's so sad that I'm like... Oh, but anyway, that's a whole other subject I'm going to get into. That'll be next time.
I think it's surprising to a lot of people, but I love the culture I grew up in, like the Mexican culture. So I love Mexico. Monterrey is really amazing. And Steven's never really been, and anytime I go and, a lot of stuff that I celebrate, I don't celebrate a lot of religious stuff or really anything like that, but the stuff that I do is very heavy just into the Mexican culture. So I really love Mexico. Anytime I go, I have fun, and it makes me happy to be a part of that culture. Even though when I go, actually, the only time I get recognized as a Hispanic person is when I'm in Mexico. Because they're just like, it's an albino. Look at that. It's like, it's me. But they, I'm recognized there, and I love it there, and I love the culture. I love, especially around Halloween time. Yeah. Stuff like that. That is amazing. The way we celebrate the people that have passed on and stuff like that.
I think that's wonderful.
That is
I love it. It's not going like, oh, he's gone. It's like, yes, but I can still celebrate who he was and stuff like that. And I've always loved Mexican culture.
I think, and I know I went to somewhere else when I was much younger, but I have no idea. I unfortunately, and you're going to know this is very unfortunately, I have only been to Juarez. That's my Mexico experience. Is the border town on the other side of it?
Woo! Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm in El Paso. It's kind of okay out here in El Paso. Oh, we're right here at the border. We can go over into Juarez. Oh my God, this place is desolate.
Yeah,
I mean, there's neat stuff
like
there,
the
but like
Wells
the
film,
second,
Touch of Evil.
Well, the second that you get on Mexican soil, the sidewalk ends, and there's a 2 or 3 foot drop, and then there's gravel and dirt everywhere, and there's like little kids like
immediately trying to
chasing chickens and like tumbleweeds. So like it's like, oh my God, really? This looks like a scene out of a movie.
Yeah. Well, have you ever been to Mexico?
Oh yeah, several times.
Okay. I've
been to several places in Mexico. I know I've been to Mexico City like 3 times, and I've been to a really cool city called Chihuahua, which I thought was really cool.
Chihuahua.
That's where dogs are from.
That's where dogs are from. All dogs. That's where dogs.
Especially
all
if
dogs
they
go to heaven, but they are all from Chihuahua.
Yeah.
But I used to go there with my dad a lot, and that was like the best place for us to go because you could live like a king there for so little. Because which was nice for us. But like the people there were so fucking nice, and I liked it. I liked it. I really dig the whole Mexican culture as well. I mean, it's part of growing up in Texas too. It's just such a part of the culture here now.
Yeah, there's a lot of it here as well.
But I like, when you mentioned like, is it El Dia de los Muertos? That I love the way
that's what I love doing about the auction is finding like the Dia de los Muertos things. I'm like, yes, I will say this word now.
I bring this up. I bring this up.
No, I did that to Nathaniel at work. I went, "Hola, Nathaniel," and he went, "Hola," and I went, "¿Cómo está usted?" And he went, "Dorito."
Dorito.
Yeah, but
Desperado.
Mexico.
Some eagle song.
Chipotle.
Yeah, but even Juarez was pretty. But I've just seen somebody like, here's Mexico, like, and it's there's other places in Mexico which were much more scenic.
Yeah.
So Mexico definitely. I mean, Steven hasn't really been out of the country ever.
Well, there is all those legal problems, and he can't.
Well, yeah.
Those are the extradition people waiting for him.
Seriously, but okay.
But maybe Esteban can go to Mexico. Stefano.
No, or Stefan. Yes.
No, but I was going to say really quickly, because I know I like to make like a really quick little book recommendation, and you bringing up like the way they celebrate Halloween down there is awesome. The in the Mexican,
although it's not on Halloween.
Well, no, it's November 1st, right? Right? Is it November 1st? Is it the first day of November, or is it second?
It's first or second, depending on I don't know. Sometimes I celebrate it on the first, sometimes on the second. It's all about all of them actually. And then I do Guy Fawkes Day.
Because that's
Guy Fawkes Day.
Yay.
What exactly?
Let's burn something.
The guy who made foxes.
But there's a really cool. My favorite little book, and it's really a children's book, but it's a very good one to read around Halloween, and it's a tradition of mine. Is a book by Ray Bradbury called The Halloween Tree, and in it, I won't go into great detail, but it's just this beautiful exploration of Halloween where these kids discover what Halloween is all about. But it's still a very dark story, obviously, because of the subject matter. It's not watered down, and it's very mature. But he spends a great deal of time celebrating the sort of Mexican perspective of death and what that's all like, and it forms a huge part of the book, and I fucking love it. If you've never read it, you should read it.
Never read it.
It's an awesome book.
That reminds me, but that has inspired me your book recommendation, being that it's Halloween coming up. At the end, I'm going to throw out some lesser seen horror films for recommendations.
We should all come up with that.
Come up with
definitely.
Oh yes. Well, I think there was a lot of anime fest. Like, what's your favorite? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, you've never seen it. But yes, Night of the Creeps and blah blah blah.
Night of the Creeps is fun. And they're showing that somewhere soon too. I think the Texas Theater is also having a Night of the Creeps.
I love Night of the Creeps.
And it's on like the 28th or 29th, whatever that Saturday is.
Oh my god, yes, Texas Theater is really good about showing really awesome random movies. Okay, but people, of course, Steven, I guess I'll take him.
Esteban
will come with you to Mexico. Esteban Hofifas. Well, add 2 syllables, they'll never know.
Well, my mom's maiden name is Gaitan, and even then they're like, Gaitan, that doesn't sound Mexican. I'm like,
Gaitan.
Fuck you.
No one bites like Gaitan.
Well, the big thing with me and Mike is Mike gets a lot of things thrown at him. But they're always very light things, like pillows and pens. But, okay, person, Steven, or Stefano. Esteban. I like Esteban, actually. Animals, Joshua.
Hey, you can't. He'll be with me in England.
No, he won't.
Yeah, he will. All right, fine. Then I will take Jason Momoa with me to
Okay. Well, I don't have a pet or anything like that. I did almost pet a fox the other night. I thought it was a cat.
It's not a good idea to pet a fox. They're very cute.
At least it
but they
wasn't
got
a nutria.
germs.
But I don't know an animal. I don't. I'll pick up an animal there. I'm good. And object. I always, when I travel, I take my dad's wedding ring.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Luck,
That's very cool.
A little good luck charm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Let's do lightning round. I want my lightning round now.
Damn. Steven's like, thank God he did that off mic.
I turned away. I knew that would kill him.
All right. Ba-doo-doo. What is your favorite sandwich and/or sandwich chain from Bobby?
Favorite sandwich and sandwich chain. It's probably not good for me, but I love a Philly cheesesteak, and I honestly don't care where it's from. Although Texadelphia in the Dallas area is really good.
Ooh, there's a place in Arlington near where we live called Dino's.
Oh, Dino's!
And I love their corned beef and like with Dino's dressing. That's like my favorite
that's good
goddamn
stuff.
sandwich in the world. Oh, it's so good.
There's some sort of bizarre sandwich I had in New Orleans too at MechaCon. Did you have it?
Or are you talking about that one that...
Oh, the one from Mother's?
Mother's. Yeah.
Oh, that shit is good.
That was good. That was gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Later. It hurts later.
It was much better than the peanut butter hamburger thing that we had.
The one that almost killed us, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But I don't know. I have a lot of sandwiches.
You don't have to answer. You could always just say, fuck this question.
Fuck this question. No, I like which.
Sorry,
sandwich.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is
I wish which was bigger.
Which yes.
Because I want like 5 of them, and that's lunch.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of good veggie options. So really anything that I'm craving, they've got. So yeah.
Nice.
I introduced Tia to it, and she the whole time said, I just don't understand what's going on, but I love it.
That is Tia.
But this comes from Ellie. I like this. Okay, if you could be any ancient Greek god or goddess, whom would you choose?
Zeus.
See how
Because he's in charge.
You?
Artemis.
Artemis? Mm-hmm. Nice. Very nice.
Name.
Not Zeus.
Not Zeus. Zap.
I would probably go with Zeus too, but that's kind of, since you answered that, I don't want
Hop down to the planet. Have me a little hoo-ha.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Of course he's Zeus. It wasn't even like, I'm the king of it. It's like, he gets laid a lot.
I want to be.
You saw right through me. I mean, I would never. It's because he's the most powerful.
I want to be. Fuck the Greek pantheon. I want to be a Norse god. I want to be Wotan or Odin, whatever the fuck.
Odin.
I want to be Odin. I want to be
Oh,
Odin.
You say you wanted to be Wu-Tang?
Wotan. That's his original name. That's why we call it Wednesday. Because it was originally called Wotan's Day or Odin's Day.
I thought you wanted to be in the Wu-Tang clan.
No, but that's where they get their
They
name
ain't
from too.
nothing to fuck with.
I'd be a Norse god. I'd be Odin, or I'd be Loki, or I'd be one of the wolf that
You'd
eats
be
the
Loki.
moon.
I'd be Quetzalcoatl.
Ah, the plumed serpent from the Aztec.
Yes,
that
the Aztec
brings the
god.
end of the world.
That's me.
Oh wow, now we're getting into obscure gods and goddesses. I like this. Good. So you'd be Artemis. I like that. I like the Artemis. Okay, wait. Here, you should probably take that because then you ask the next question. Lightning round.
Oh, I like this question. It's not really, but for our chat room, we have Bot. Bot helps Steven moderate the chat, and Bot also is like, hey, you're using too many capitals. You're out.
B-O-T or B-A-H-T?
B-O-T.
Got it.
Bot. And
Or B-O-U-G-H-T.
Bot apparently has a lot of fans.
Okay.
So
Bot.
Colleen wants to know if it's okay if she made a fan page for Bot. And I'm like,
Lightning round. Yes, that's
yes.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. But please,
you go for it.
Also, get a hobby.
Bot is good. Bot
If you
helps
could
me.
look like any of your characters, which one would you want to look like?
Probably Tybalt, because he's handsome.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
Tybalt's
sorry.
pretty hot.
I'd make
The
you feel
answer is
very...
not Buggy or Roshi.
If you look like Buggy, I wouldn't come anywhere fucking near you. But I would spend a lot of time in your company if you look like Tybalt.
I would spend a lot of time in my own company if I was Tybalt. Look at me.
That's why Tybalt's such a loner. He's hot. He's like, I don't need anybody else.
Just me, baby, me. And the mirror.
You go. I have to think about the hottest character I've played.
Kamita Todoroki from
yeah.
Corpse Princess. She's got cool. She's got just a nice body, which I appreciate, and pigtails. Why not?
I want to look like Inaru, but without
Really?
But yes, he's got a great body.
Okay.
I mean, like I would. I mean, I'm just saying.
But that includes the large earlobes and the big circular thing. That
I could the drum ring. I could work with that. I think I could work with that. I think that would be. I mean, if you look like that, I mean, who's gonna fuck with you for looking like that when you look like
Apparently a lot
that?
of people.
it wouldn't be Sebastian.
Sebastian is a very close second, but Sebastian is very
he's rather
hot,
handsome.
But he's very handsome, but he's
He is,
I like
isn't he?
I like Inaru's
buff.
muscles, and he's very exotic looking. He's unusual. I go for that a lot.
And he sounds like this.
And he's got a great voice. If I do say so myself.
Tater
Which
tots.
we got some
that would
really
be my
awesome fan
nickname
work
for
of
me.
Tatum Tots.
Yes.
No. We just got it. I haven't shown you it yet.
No,
but
she
it's,
showed me. I signed
did
it.
she?
I signed it at A-Fest.
You guys quit yelling at each other or I'm going to pull over.
God damn it!
Is it of me
I will
eating
turn this
the
show
Tatum
around.
Tots? It's of me eating the Tatum Tots. You've seen that
Oh, no,
one?
okay, then that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking...
See?
Okay.
I am right!
As always. Here's your fucking ribbon.
Steven loves the outbursts.
Yay! Ribbon! Yay! What is your favorite... What is your favorite kind of candy? from Colleen as well.
Kind of candy.
Candy.
Let's see. I prefer like chocolates and stuff to hard candy for sure. And sometimes I like pastry type stuff more than full on just like chocolatey type stuff.
I'm a fan of pastries.
But if I was just going to go into a convenience store, the candy of choice would be a Nutrageous bar, which I'm not even sure if they make them anymore. But those are really good.
They do.
Those are
Nutrageous.
Nutrageous is good.
They are very good.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit's good too.
Whatchamacallit's delicious.
Good. They're really, really good. I am a big fan of peanut butter and chocolate together. So I love Reese's Pieces and I love Reese's peanut butter.
And you love Nutrageous then. Nutrageous.
Yeah, Nutrageous is badass.
Nutrageous.
You? What's your favorite
Whatchamacallit.
Whatchamacallit.
Okay.
Whatchamacallit or Reese's Pieces.
But like I do like German chocolate cake as well. I love cobblers. I love like blueberry cobbler. And I got Michael recently hooked on red bean ice cream, which is also a very good dessert.
Oh, it's so good.
I realize it's not candy, but
it's good.
Yeah,
right?
we're at the end of the meal.
Sweet tooth zone.
I'm more of a fan of pastries and stuff like that. I really don't have a big sweet tooth. If you hadn't noticed, I really don't do a lot of.
I don't discriminate.
Sugar.
I have a big sweet tooth, and I don't discriminate. I between desserts. I'm like, I like this, I like that. I'm not a big fan of hard candies. Though. So
it's okay. Like it's all right. Like I'll have a Jolly Rancher or a Sucker or something like that. But I'd really rather have a Nutrageous bar.
Yeah, I'd really rather have a Reese's.
Like I just I grew up eating a lot of Mexican candy, which is like, woo!
It's just pure sugar.
Fuck! I can see through time! Holy shit! I'm fucking invisible!
I can see in 5 dimensions. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. Okay, this is cool. Favorite Miyazaki film?
I'm going to have to go with Spirited Away. There are several that I like, and it's really hard to
choose
pick.
a favorite of his because a lot of them are
I
great.
really like Nausicaa as well.
Oh yeah.
Give me some.
Howl's Moving Castle for me.
That one's really good
That's
too.
my favorite personally, but again, it's so hard to choose because I love Spirited Away. I love
Spirited
Princess
Away
Mononoke.
was like I'd seen several before that, but that was the first one where I think I got to see it in a theater, and that was part of the experience. It wasn't just at home. And no, because I saw Mononoke in the theater too. But anyway, just the huge theatrical experience of watching that film, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, oh god, it is. I mean, there's not...
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't choose? Have you seen a lot of them? Because... I don't think you haven't seen...
Castle, and I've seen Spirited Away. I don't know what else I've seen.
I have
there's a bunch
Ponyo on my instant queue,
I've seen
but
Ponyo.
I haven't watched it yet.
I liked it, but out of those three, Ponyo, blah, 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 I would have to go with probably Spirited Away.
Spirited Away is fantastic.
You need to watch My Neighbor Totoro. You need to watch that.
Oh God! See, I know it's like so hard to choose a favorite, but Howl's Moving Castle for some reason just speaks to me personally. But it's not that I think it's a better film than any of the others. That's just my personal choice.
His crappiest film.
We've got.
His crappiest film is still
it is.
mountains above just about anything else you could find.
Yeah.
This is from. Okay, she gave me the way to pronounce it. This is a fan from Dublin.
Oh, awesome. I've been there once and I loved it.
I love it. It's Aoife, and she said to pronounce it Aoife. Eefa is how she says to pronounce it.
Aoife. Okay.
Which is a really cool name.
That's a very, very cool name.
Oh my god. Okay, so I like this. I love the scenario questions, although in a lot of these scenario questions it's like, hey, one of your friends is gonna die. Which one? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
and so.
The one I like the least. How about that? Yeah.
Okay, but I like this one. It's you're stranded alone. You're stranded alone on an island with nothing except your iPod. Which has enough battery for you to play 3 more songs. What are they?
Oh, God.
Oh, these are tough. I hate these and love these.
3 songs? Well, I would have to go the route of, emotional impact and energy and not posterity of all time. So I'm going to go with modern music. And
sure.
I'm not, let's see. It's going to be really lame.
It can be lame. It's okay. No one's judging.
I can't pick 3 of all. Like for that, I'm just going to throw out 3 that I think would do all well. Right. "Laid to Rest" by Lamb of God.
Ooh.
Let's see. "Fuck That Shit" by Combo Christ. And oh God, now I forgot what the first word of it is. It's the Of the Darkness song by Killswitch Engage. It's like, yeah. But it's like,
if Steven was in here,
good luck finding it on your iPod.
I all of a sudden like the song that I listen to very often, and now I can't think of the word.
When you're like,
yeah.
fuck, my 3 would be, and these are just random, but they're songs I'd love to listen to one last time before whatever. April Fool's Day by Rufus Wainwright, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
One of mine's Rufus Wainwright.
The Fear by Pulp, which is one of my all-time favorite goddamn songs, and Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
That's an awesome song.
Goddamn amazing song. Yeah.
That song's so good.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And have you seen Ergo Proxy? They use that as the closing theme. Like
Did they?
An anime has that as their closing theme song. Yeah, I'll let you borrow it. It's a really good show.
Oh, please. I've heard amazing things about it, but that makes me want to watch it just to see that happened. Yeah. That's awesome.
Rufus Wainwright's Hallelujah, I really like.
This is a good version.
Nancy Sinatra's Bang Bang, and Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics.
Wrong. The answer was actually...
Sweet Dreams.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
Love it.
I like this one.
The Manson cover's fun. But
It is fun.
I like the Eurythmics one.
There's another one, like, because you saw Sucker Punch. There's that new.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
And haters can go away because that movie's awesome.
Visually stunning.
Oh, I thought the script was great
The
too.
music was really good.
What
I like the music.
Sucker
Sucker
Punch.
Punch.
I think Sucker Punch is really good.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to.
Hotties. Find
Yeah.
them.
They asked me who to cast, and they were
They
correct.
listened. Mike McFarland said.
Mike McFarland approved.
All right, well, let's move into something that we can actually all do in our sleep. Recommending badass horror movies that people should watch.
With Halloween just
Which I
around
can
the
redeem
corner.
myself on since I just blanked out on
Or do the high.
an entire lifespan of hundreds of years of theater.
High.
Because I'm like, wait, wow.
The guy that killed somebody and then died.
You know, and the chick was like, no!
Cyrano
And we were
the
like,
Bergerac.
what?
Willie Loman.
Yeah.
Maria from West Side Story.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not even,
It's an adaptation. It is an adaptation of...
Anti-Mame.
Yeah.
That's like everyone just assumes every dramatic character in the world is a creation of Shakespeare's.
Chaucer! What? That's not even...
The wife of Bath. Wait, no, that...
Okay, so...
So
Halloween just around the corner. We thought us at That Anime Show and our guest this week, Mike McFarland, would give you a few Halloween recommendations as far as horror movies are concerned.
Sure.
Mike?
I'll think of a few that just aren't on the top of everyone's radar and list.
those are the good ones.
Yeah.
I love finding the ones that I've never heard of.
The Keep is a really cool film.
Yes!
It's a fortress out in the middle of nowhere during like World War II, and the Nazis take it over, and the spirit that resides there is not happy with the fact that they've taken it over.
Yes.
And it's the music is a little odd for a horror film because it's either like Tangerine Dream or Vangelis or somebody like that. So it's a little bizarre for its setting, but it's just a really neat film.
It is. I agree. Ian McKellen is in it.
Ian McKellen is in it. I think Gabriel Byrne is in it as well.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And rather than just me list them all off, let's just like as soon as you think of one, just go for it, and I'm going to come back.
There's a really a movie that I just find really, really effective. Although it's not quite what you would call a haunted house movie or even a horror movie. It's more just a psychological thriller, but it's got overtones of a haunted house flick or a haunted location, like cursed land sort of place, called Session 9.
I've heard Session 9,
which I cannot remember the actor's name.
Caruso.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's basically about a team of asbestos specialists who go in to like clean out this place, and it's they're hired to basically clean it out before demolition, so the shit doesn't get in the atmosphere or whatever. And they go to this really old, rundown and fucking creepy building that was like a mental institution where they used to perform like lobotomies back in the day and things like that. So it's got a bad history to it, and it's just as they're there, it's just this group of like 5 or 6 guys that go in to do this job, and they each have like take a wing or like a section themselves, and they all start the place just kind of starts pitting them against each other and starts really kind of warping them, and it has a really good twist at the end that works incredibly well. It's very smartly written, and there's some really chilling moments. And I like to add that they actually filmed on location in the place where they are in the movie is a real place, and it is called that, and it is an abandoned mental institution where they did perform a lot of like lobotomies and things like that, and it's a real place, and it's known to be haunted or whatever, and it makes the film. It really does.
It came out in theaters and everything, but I love it. I love watching it. It's not like by any means like a fantastic movie, but Event Horizon.
That was going to be my next one that I was going to.
Event Horizon. It's a haunted house in space.
But it's
amazing.
It's a 90s film. It's done really well. It's very disturbing.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of things where you're just like, no, God! But it's, yes, it is. A lot of it is like sometimes just very like, gotcha.
It does a lot of the same sort of disturbing type stuff that like Jacob's Ladder does, except that it's much more intense.
I was going to mention Jacob's Ladder.
And Larry or Cowboy Curtis is in it, or Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah. And Sam Neill, Cowboy Curtis. Yeah, when he was Larry Fishburne. That's when he was on Pee-wee's Playhouse. There are a lot of other really good actors that are in that film. That's Natasha Richardson's sister, is in it too. But it's a great film, and it's nice and spooktacular. But you would almost assume if you hadn't seen it that it's just a sci-fi film, and it's not.
Right. And I know we mentioned it earlier, but it's just such an old film that maybe some of the audience hasn't seen it. If you haven't seen John Carpenter's The Thing, that movie is so good.
God damn, yes it is.
The pacing's nice. For some people it could be a little slow, but I love it. I love that film.
Yeah,
I don't think that for me, there's not a slow goddamn moment in that film. Except in the beginning when they're kind of getting everything established.
Well, they set you up really well, and the isolation is set up really well.
It's a claustrophobic fucking movie and for a lot of reasons, not just because they're in tight spaces and they're in the middle of somewhere where they can't survive outside on their own.
And Wilford Brimley has not started selling you diabetes medicine.
Yeah, diabetes. Yeah, and the same thing for the sort of age of it, not because it wasn't popular, but if you haven't seen the first Alien is a great sci-fi horror film, much like Event Horizon, as far as sci-fi horror.
I can appreciate all of the Alien movies. It's a separate thing. With the third one, which Paul McGann is in, which is fun.
I like the third one.
The third one has grown on me. I didn't like it when I first saw it, but when I go back and look at it now,
it's so substantially different from the other two before, but it's really good.
It's basically a prison film.
And it's a David Fincher film.
The director of it.
It works really well as that.
David Fincher?
David Fincher? Oh, God.
Fight Club. Seven.
But that was before, and especially when you learned that it really wasn't like a fluid script throughout the whole thing. Like, wow.
That's another movie that we just brought up. Seven. Not really a horror movie, but
it's horrifying.
It's horrifying, but that is a
What's in the box?
That is a goddamn good movie. That's a great one. It's not. There's no supernatural angle to it, which is. But that doesn't have to be.
Mention The Exorcist. That's another one people should see. Rosemary's Baby, I think, is pretty creepy.
Night of the Creeps, which is cheese. I love cheese.
It's cheesy.
I love cheese. You got good lines like, well, girls, the good news is your dates are here. What's the bad news? They're dead. I love it.
They're dead.
They're full of dead.
Dead and Breakfast, which is not scary at all.
No.
But David Carradine's in it. And Oz Perkins, who's Anthony Perkins' son. He's like, the main zombie. Blah, blah, blah. And the zombies have a musical number. What can you not love about that? May's good.
May's good.
May's cool.
May bothers me a few
It is
scenes.
very bothersome, but Angela Bettis has just got that nice, uneasy quality.
My brother's friends with her.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that because I was like, I saw this movie called May. I was like, my friend Angela's in it. I'm like, no idea.
No, I met her at a convention too long ago. She's very cool. Very cool. This is also when I met Romero, though, so anybody else is just kind of, Romero, Doug Bradley.
I feel like I should throw in a few book recommendations, too.
We'll do it.
I'll keep thinking of films. Books. There are a few books I loved. Some of my favorite books to read, just when I want to be scared, but they're great Halloween books too, even if they're not Halloween. I mentioned The Halloween Tree, which is a Halloween book written about Halloween, and that's a great book. But it's it's a little kid's book you can read in an hour. An adult book you can sit down with. I love Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, that several movies have been based on, with varying degrees of success, but the book itself is really chilling, and it's a well-written supernatural thriller where you're like, God damn. It's really horrifying because the main character, your guide through this whole experience, is their sanity is questionable from the start. And so you're like, shit, it's like having to go someplace you don't want to go in a car you think is probably going to explode at any moment because, whatever, you haven't had the timing belts not been changed in 8 years. It's a terrifying book, and blah 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 blah. One of my personal, it's an oldie but a goodie, but Henry James's The Turn of the Screw is an old-fashioned ghost story, but it's damn good. One of my favorite. Those are just two. I could name a bunch of others, but yeah.
Get out. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get the fuck out of here then.
Okay, fine. Mike, thank you so much for actually asking to be on the show.
Sure.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, you've been on the show for a while, right? Yeah.
Well, it's just because you're so goddamn busy. We didn't want to bother you.
That's what I'm like. I was never going to ask you because it's just like, I got this, and this. You want to do a podcast?
No, I thought it'd be fun. So I was like, hey, if there's ever a spot, I'd love to do it sometime.
Awesome, definitely.
Like, okay, how about next month? Okay.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, dear Sarah.
Yes,
let's do this again sometime.
Sure. What are you guys doing like in an hour?
Bye.
Bye.